What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Everybody that's here, I see you all trickling in. I appreciate you being here. Anyone that's watching the stream after, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch little old me. Really appreciate all of you. So, we got a lot of craziness going on in the NBA. A lot of madness. Here, let me just make sure everything's working correctly. Bear with me 1 second. All right, that looks good. All right, we're here. Okay. But yeah, so right off the bat, obviously this Boston Celtics thing. You might be thinking like, this is a Laker channel. Why are you talking about Boston? Because to be honest, we need to be rooting for Boston right now because Boston may be the first domino to fall. I mean, think about it. Now, it's been reported for some time, right? The Nets want to trade Kevin Durant first. The Nets want to get rid of Kevin Durant in order to trade Kyrie Irving. And if Kevin Durant ends up getting traded, I imagine rather quickly we will see a Kyrie Irving trade short to follow. So the Boston Celtics really need to end up landing Kevin Durant because if they land Kevin Durant, then I imagine Kyrie will be shortly followed. And now, as far as the Celtics go, the Celtics have put themselves in a position now to where they almost have to trade Kevin Durant or have to trade for Kevin Durant because you basically burned any bridges you had with the guy and Jaylen Brown. The fact that he's even in it and he's even in the discussion for that. And personally, if I was obviously they can't trade him because Ben Simmons is on the Nets. But honestly, if you were going to trade for Kevin Durant, I would rather trade Jason Tatum because I think they're a lot more similar than Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown is more of a vocal leader. He's got more of like that like dog in him than Jason Tatum does. Jason Tatum, I think, is the better player. I think Jason Tatum, I think if you could take Jaylen Brown's mentality and put it into Jason Tatum might be the best player in the league. He is that skilled, that talented, that gifted. But he disappears so much and he's just absent on so many occasions that it would be nice to see, you get a guy that could basically replace, and now you don't have that absence, and now you have somebody in, Kevin Durant and Jaylen Brown who could both show up in the fourth quarter, stuff like that. But nonetheless, I want to talk more about the Lakers because obviously this is a Laker channel. Lakers are my team, and many of you are here for the Lakers. But the reason I think Boston is so important and why we kind of need to be rooting that Boston lands Kevin Durant is because that'll be, in my opinion, the first domino to fall to kind of get the ball rolling here, right? If Kevin Durant gets traded, then now more teams might be going after Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell trade likely ends up being crazy. I think the Lakers end up pushing hard for, at that point, the Nets might be the ones pushing hard for a Kyrie trade because they got rid of Kevin Durant. And I know we've heard the reports of, Kyrie wants to stay in Brooklyn with or without Kevin Durant. It's not going to be up to him. Joe Tsai wants him gone. Sean Marks, everybody wants him gone. The only reason he's there is because of Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant's gone, they're not going to want to deal with Kyrie Irving. They're going, especially if you have Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, and which I think most likely that'll be what the package looked like. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. You probably give J.D. Davison and then like 3 first-round picks. That's better than any. Like, what other deal are that the Nets going to get that's better than that deal from the Boston Celtics? I can't think of one. Toronto's not trading Scotty Barnes. Maybe Scotty Barnes and Siakam, but I just don't see them ever trading that. The Warriors have basically all said that they're out of it. I mean, the owner basically was like, yeah, we don't need him. We don't want him, essentially. Not in those exact words, but pretty close. So I just don't see how, one, the Nets are going to get a better package than that. And two, it's like, what options are left? There's not many options left. And so if he goes to the Boston Celtics, which, again, they kind of burnt the bridge with Jaylen Brown. And he's still under contract till 2024, I believe. But he could just leave, and now you get nothing. And you'll probably never get somebody like KD level talent. And so in that case, you need to do the deal, and then that opens the door for Kyrie Irving to the Lakers, right? Because now there's more incentive to make it happen. But it's all just speculation at this time until we actually see stuff. But hopefully, what is going on, Moses? Appreciate you being here. Let's jump into this chat here. Rob, what is up? What is up? Victor, appreciate you all being here. What is up, Lake Show? Broco, what is up? KD going to the Boston Celtics. I think so too. I think that I don't really think they have a choice now. I don't think there's much options as far as like what they can and cannot do because like I said, I mean, Jaylen Brown, if you haven't seen the tweet, he wasn't very happy, and I don't blame him. I mean, look at it. He was the only guy that showed up in the NBA Finals. Like, how would you feel if you're like, dude, I was there. I was putting up 20-point fourth quarters, trying to will our team to victories. I was single-handedly winning games. I was doing everything I could. I gave you everything I had, and now you're just shipping me off for Kevin Durant. Like, all right, fine, bet. Like, watch. Trade me or don't trade me. It's about to get real. I don't know. It's one of those things. But do you think KD will get traded before August? I think it's a real possibility. I mean, we're almost towards the end of this month, so it might be a little hard because I imagine this is probably going to get drawn out. Probably, like, if the trade even does happen, I think it gets drawn out for probably a couple weeks. You'll have the back and forth negotiations. The Celtics submitted their first offer, which was Derek White, Jaylen Brown, one first round pick. They want Marcus Smart. So I think eventually they'll end up settling on like Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and like 2 firsts, or the young kid and JD Davis and like 2 or 3 firsts. I think it'll end up being something along those lines, very likely. That would probably be my guess. And then, so I mean, it just depends on how aggressive are both sides. If Boston's really, really becomes aggressive and like is like, all right, we need to get this deal done. I could see it happening. Yeah, I could see it happening before August. It just depends on what side is more aggressive. I hope so, because Boston will trade so much of their depth. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, because so here's the thing, like Jaylen Brown, you're getting an upgrade, and Kevin Durant. Marcus Smart might be a little tough pill to swallow, but you just signed Brogdon, right? Malcolm Brogdon. He offers and does a lot of the same stuff that Marcus Smart does. So you kind of got his replacement. Now, can he stay healthy is the concern, but Marcus Smart wasn't very healthy last year either. So, if he can stay healthy, you basically got your replacement there. You got Gallo as your other wing guy. So they're still going to have a lot of depth. They're still going to have, a lot of the same talent. Defensively, they're probably going to be the same defensive team, because it was more of a team defense effort than anything. Like, they were individually, they were all like average defenders. Like, if you look at their individual stats, but it was just the team defense was so well done, and their defensive schemes and set were so well put together that everybody elevated. Marcus Smart won a defense player of the year. Like, Marcus Smart is not the greatest on-ball defender ever. Like, he's not a guy that is just like locked down, nobody scoring type guy on me. He just knew I could gamble. I could, be aggressive because I have, Robert Williams behind me, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the team defense collectively. So I think they'll still be fine depth-wise. I think they'll be fine. I think if anything, they're just upgrading offensively. Crowley offers his soul. You have no soul, Crowley. Nets released the information about the Celtics trade because they know KD doesn't want to play in Boston. They wanted to show KD the best offer comes from a team that he doesn't like. See, I don't believe that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but it doesn't make sense to me because Kevin Durant wanted to go to Boston back in 2016. Like, he had a meeting with them. Like, they were going to sign him. Like, that was one of his top destinations to go to. And they weren't as good as they are now. Like, they are much better now than they were back in 2016. So, I mean, I don't where else is he going to go? Like, Phoenix is out of the equation. So, like, is it a play to maybe keep Kevin Durant around? Possibly, but I don't think Kevin Durant's going to change his mind. Maybe you keep him this year, but I think eventually you're still going to have to trade him. And it's just like, and who knows what deals are going to be on the table next year? Like, yeah, maybe you get a better deal on the table next year, but what if you don't? What if the deals are even worse? And because, what happens if, teams are pat or they make a deal, and not a lot of teams have salary space next year, except for like the bad teams. Like, it's a tough gamble if you don't trade them this year. Celtics defense will get worse. See, I don't think so, because like I said, they weren't individually, they weren't the greatest defensive team. They just had really good team defense. They were the top team defensive team in the league last year. But individually, even Marcus Smart, his individual defensive rating was not based on if you look up the past defensive player of the year players, his was one of the highest. Like he wasn't like a lockdown defender. It was more of a team award than it was like, let's just give it to Marcus Smart. Like, they have to give it to one player. Marcus Smart was the vocal guy, all of that stuff, so that's kind of my thing. I don't think their defense is gonna, I don't think they're gonna have trouble with their defense, if I'm being honest. Pretty disrespectful. They keep putting JD or JB in trade discussions. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But Boston's always done that. I mean, look what they did to Isaiah Thomas and stuff, I mean, look, I'll never get mad at a team for trying to upgrade. I can't really blame them for wanting Kevin Durant. But it's one of those things now where it's like, you had to have known we need to get this deal done. You had to have known, like, we can't take chances. Like, that's why I think it's very likely that this deal probably gets done, because it's just like, at this point, if you're the Celtics, you just destroyed everything. You had a team that was riding a high, that was just in the NBA Finals, that got team chemistry, all of that, this, that, and the other, and now you're potentially trading your most consistent player. Like, I don't know. I think you burnt that bridge. Now you're kind of painted into a corner. Typical Kevin joining teams who beat him. Well, I mean, it's not up to him. It's more so who the Nets want to trade him to. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be one thing if Kevin Durant signed with the Celtics. It'd be another thing that, if he gets traded there, I mean, of course he could say no, but why? They have a good team, So if the Kyrie trade does get done, who else is going with him, Curry or Joe? I think Lakers will end up trading for Joe Harris. I'm curious to see how this plays out. So if the Nets could end up making out like bandits here, because realistically, let's say they trade Kevin Durant for Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, and then like say JD, something like that. But let's say it's mainly Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, right? So you have those two. They already have Ben Simmons on the team, so you'd have Ben Simmons, you'd have Marcus Smart, and you'd have Jaylen Brown. The Nets could then, if that Indiana Pacer deal is really on the table for the Lakers, the Nets could then go to the Lakers and say, hey, we're going to trade you Kyrie Irving because we traded Kevin Durant, but we don't want a first now. We want Miles Turner. So go get Miles Turner, because you say the deal is on the table, right? You say you could get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Okay, go make the trade, right? And then we'll give you Kyrie for Miles Turner in like 2 seconds or something like that, whatever. Right? You probably got to throw in THT, something along those lines. But here you go. If they say, hey, we're going to give you Joe Harris too, you get Kyrie. Okay, then yeah. I mean, you basically are swapping Joe Harris. At that point, you definitely have to throw in THT, make salaries match, stuff like that. So you're probably looking at Miles Turner and THT for Kyrie Irving and Joe Harris. But the Nets could realistically have a starting five of Marcus Smart, Seth Curry, Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, and Miles Turner. Like, that's a pretty good starting five. They're still all very young. They all still have room to grow in potential. I mean, it's not a bad spot to be in if you're the Nets. Basically turning Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant into Marcus Smart, Miles Turner, and JB. I mean, it's not a bad place to be. Robert Williams was their key. Yeah, he was a big de facto person. Boston's not doing this. I mean, we'll see. At this point, like I said, they might not have a choice. It might not be up to Boston. Like, they might have to, because what else are you going to do? You're going to end up trading. You're going to end up letting Jaylen Brown walk, because he's a free agent in 2024. What if the chemistry's not there? All that stuff, and that Kevin Durant trade might not be on the table in the future. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think Boston would have done that unless they knew, like, we have to trade him. They had to have known this isn't going to go well if they don't get the deal done. So I just think, and based on all the reports, they feel that he's the player to put them over the top. So if they really feel that way, then you got to imagine that that they're going to make the trade. The Celtics offer happened a couple of days after KD's trade request. Funny that the Nets waited a few weeks to release the information. I don't know, because there was that report from the Nets guy. I can't remember his name on top of my head. That he said that this was that this re-engaged conversation happened like a couple days ago. Again, I mean, who knows what's actually real? Who knows what's really being put out there or not? Like I said, it's all just speculation at this time. But nonetheless, I mean, look, the Nets were the ones that put it out. So even if it isn't, right? Like, so even if the Celtics aren't in it, maybe they want to renegotiate. They had to have done that for a reason, right? So that means the Nets are at least interested in trying to get the KD trade done. Like, that shows that the Nets at least want to do the KD trade, whether it's to the Celtics or somebody else. It's to try to stir the pot some more and try to get that. And now you just painted the Celtics in a position to where now the guy you wanted is gone. So it's like, best case scenario, the Nets end up having to have the Celtics re-engage, right? I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. If I was KD, I would be looking for a team that has a Draymond or Butler who can call anyone on their BS because they care more about winning than being fired, being a friend. I do too. I think Kevin Durant needs a guy like Draymond. That's why I think it was silly that he ever left. I know he was upset and, he was hurt by the way that Draymond called him out and stuff, but he needs that. He's not a vocal leader. And that's my concern with trading Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown is now who's the vocal leader in that locker room? I mean, Ime Udoka, yeah, he's a guy that can be a vocal leader, absolutely. But you need that player. You need that guy that can get in the ears, get in your chest, that can basically tell you, you're messing up. Marcus Smart was that guy. Jaylen Brown was that guy. Jason Tatum is not that guy. Kevin Durant is not that guy. So now your two best players are guys that won't be vocal leaders. So who's left? Al Horford? Like, I don't know. But I do agree with that. KD for AD. If that could be a realistic trade, I would do that in a heartbeat. I really would. Kyrie convinced KD to stay from Boston. Yeah, but things change. I mean, look what happened when you listened to Kyrie. Just saying. Victor, that was a joking one. I mean, hey, it was a deal that was thrown out there in the past. I mean, if it was something that could happen, I wouldn't be completely against it. Your defense gets worse with KD. I mean, not much. KD is still an above average defender. If you go look at his defensive rating compared to like Jaylen Brown and guys like that isn't that far off. So you're not going to get, and like I said, they were a team defensive team. They weren't individually great defensively. Like, no, they weren't one of the top defensive teams until like nobody was talking about Marcus Smart being the defensive player of the year until this season because Ime Udoka put in a defensive scheme that was it was very well orchestrated. Everyone knew the role. Everyone knew what they were supposed to do, who to attack. It was very well put together. KD has been pretty injury prone in the last 3 seasons. Yes, very true. Very true. Very true. If it's just for KD and you still have Westbrook and LeBron, then no. If you're getting KD and Kyrie, then yeah, I would do it. Like, you take your chance because all you need is them healthy come playoff time. Healthy Bucks will eat the Celtics team up. Right now, yes. If they get Kevin Durant, I don't know. Kevin Durant took a overweight, half there James Harden and a Kyrie Irving that was on one leg and was a toe on the line away from beating the Bucks. You put him on that Celtics team currently, I don't know. I don't think the Celtics are. I think the Bucks are still the best team in the East currently, but Kevin Durant is an upgrade. Who knows? You never know. But yeah, Victor, only if we had picks. Yeah, the Lakers will not get Kyrie Irving. I mean, we'll see. It's very possible. Nothing is guaranteed. Will THT be a Laker before camp begins? THT. I mean, depends on what trades are out there. If you're doing the Kyrie trade. Probably. If you're doing the Pacers trade, then I could see him going. Pacers take a flyer on THT. I'd say it's probably about 50-50 right now. I think it just depends on what deals are on the table, what assets they would have to give up, stuff like that. The Celtics will not get Kevin Durant. I don't know. I mean, like I said, you never know. You never know. This is crazy. Let's keep the picks and keep Russ. Championship or bust. Let LeBron walk. Session, we need to rebuild. I don't know about that. We don't have a way to rebuild. If we had all of our picks and we had stuff, might not be a terrible idea. There's not really any big free agents that are out there. And do you want another 5 or 6 years of Lakers being terrible? Like, I don't. At least they're competitive. I mean, I've talked before. I think worst case scenario, if you have to keep Russ, it's not the end of the world. I don't want to see the Lakers make a trade and we get a Dane Mozgov situation all over again. Because you don't want to do the Knicks trade, get Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, and Derrick Rose, and then LeBron leaves you, and now you have basically a bunch of role players and Anthony Davis, and now you're strapped cap for 4 years. You have no picks for a couple more years, and it's just you're in a bad spot now. Like, I don't want to see that happen. If it's the Knicks deal or it's keep Russ for one more year, you keep Russ for another year. Because as much as people would hate it, as much as everything, the Lakers don't need to they don't need to go backwards. The whole point is to go forward. And Russ falls off the books. And even if LeBron does walk, now you have $100 million in cap space. You could try to get some mid-tier guys. Maybe there's a disgruntled star that wants out. LeBron, where is he going to go? Any team that can sign him, he's not going to want to play for. Any team that can trade for him, they would be hard capped, right? And what assets are they going to give up? And so, like, where's LeBron going to go? And you'd have the money to sign Kyrie next season. So yeah, like, you're punting a season of LeBron, but maybe Darvin Ham can kind of draw out Russ a little bit, and Russ buys in. I don't think that they're a contender, but maybe they could be a competitive team, a solid team. At the end of the day, Dallas made it to the Western Conference Finals. Like, a LeBron James and Anthony Davis, healthy and a dominant AD, they could get us back. Like, nobody in the NBA last season were world beaters. Like, none of the teams in the NBA last season were Kevin Durant on the Warriors good. Everybody looked beatable. Everyone looked like a team that, like, hey, you throw in Anthony Davis and LeBron James into those games, like, I'll take my chances. Like, and nothing groundbreaking has really changed. No teams have, like, upgraded that tremendously. I mean, like, the biggest name that has left so far has been Rudy Gobert to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm not really sold on that deal. I'm just not. I just could be wrong, but I don't know. I think THT stays. I think if we get Kyrie, yes. If we don't, I think you got to trade him. Because I don't know. Like I said, I'd put about 50-50, but I do think it's very likely he stays. With Kai, we are only a 5 or 6 seed, and that's it. So from a talent standpoint, I think you're wrong. From a Lakers won't care about seeding standpoint, I think you're right. And what I mean by that is the Lakers, with Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James, they're not going to care about being the number 1 or number 2 seed. I mean, if they're all healthy, they might get there anyway, but, like, they're not going to be like, let's go win 80 games. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, they're not going to care about that. They just want to be somewhere in the 4 to 6 range. They just don't want to be a bubble team, or not a bubble team, play-in team. They just want to get to, like, we are locked into the playoffs. And then at that point, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, you trust that they can get the job done, whoever you face, and you're in the finals and you win a finals. So from that standpoint, I think you're correct. From a talent standpoint, like, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James all healthy, which teams are better than that? Like, which teams, like, seriously, even the Warriors, who guards Anthony Davis? Anthony Davis would be the biggest mismatch in the world for them. Who's guarding Anthony Davis? Who do they have that can guard LeBron James? Andrew Wiggins, but outside of that, who's left? Kuminga, maybe? Kuminga's not, he didn't even play in the playoffs. Like, so, like, who's doing that? And who's guarding Kyrie? Klay Thompson? Like, who's guarding them? The Lakers have nothing but now six players to guard Steph and stuff like that. I'm not saying that they're going to shut them down, but they can wear them out. Like, just throw in, Walker and Brown and THD and, Johnson and Gabriel and all these guys at them, and we'd have size like, the Suns. We don't even know if the Suns are going to be functional. DeAndre Ayton basically quit on them in Game 7. They weren't that good. Chris Paul's only getting older. Devin Booker completely disappeared. Like, who is undoubtedly better than us? Like, with Kyrie Irving. Like I do think that they would probably finish somewhere in like the 4 to 5 seed. Because again, I don't think the Lakers care. I don't think the Lakers are like, we have to get the 1 seed. I don't think they care. But yeah, Nets are not making any trades. Their goal is to get KD to stay. It hasn't worked so far. So, I mean, it's possible. That could be the goal. That doesn't mean it'll happen. Jaylen Brown can't be upset. These guys know it's a business. You do whatever you can to improve your team. I mean, of course they know it's a business, but that doesn't mean that you can't get upset. It doesn't mean that he can't be bothered by it. Of course he can. He's the only guy that showed up. Like he's the only guy that has been consistent for them. He was supposed to be their guy. Like, of course it sucks. I mean, I don't think he's like, I think if he was being discussed in a trade for, Taylor Horton Tucker, I think he'd be like, who? Like, what? But I mean, I'm sure he understands, like, it's Kevin Durant, like, okay, they're not trading me for a bum. They're trading me for, somebody that's like one of the best players in the league still, but still, like, it doesn't mean it still sucks. What else? Just accept reality. Westbrook is the point guard. It very well could be, but even if they don't get the Kyrie trade, I think Westbrook is gone. I think at this point they have to trade Kyrie. I'm just saying, a lot of people are going to be upset if these deals get done. I mean, the Lakers are fine either way, but a lot of these people are very like adamant. Like this is, there's a lot of people throwing around like definitives, and you can't really throw out definitives when you don't know what's going to happen. And then, you're going to have a lot of people that are looking goofy. Like, I'm just saying. Jaylen Brown knows he's not getting traded. I don't know. I mean, if they end up taking Kevin Durant, he very likely could get traded. Yes, I threw in Ben Simmons. Absolutely. Damn, looks like we're stuck with Westbrook. Like I said, I don't think that's the end of the world. I really don't. I know some people do, but if it comes down to Lakers have to make a bad trade that could destroy the next like 3 to 5 years, or they move off of Westbrook. I just think you keep Westbrook. You know what I mean? Like if those are your two options, if it's either A, we have to make a bad trade like the Knicks trade because it's the only way we can move off of Westbrook, or we keep Westbrook for a year, we try to figure it out. I would rather keep Westbrook for a year and try to figure it out because I don't want to see the Lakers try to get rid of Westbrook just to get rid of Westbrook. And your hope is that Darvin Ham can run a scheme to help Westbrook be effective, which I think he will be. I'm not saying Westbrook all of a sudden that the Lakers are going to be the best team in the NBA with Westbrook, but I do think he could be a lot more effective because Frank Vogel ran the 4-out-1-in offense on several occasions. He just put Westbrook in the worst positions possible. Westbrook will be used like Giannis was used the last few seasons. I'm not saying they're comparable players, but a lot of the issues that Westbrook has, Giannis had and still has in many ways. He has improved in a lot of those areas like three-point shooting, stuff like that. But what did they do with the Bucks? They drew out shooters to allow Giannis to go downhill. That's what they did. And that's what will end up happening. Westbrook will likely be able to get on the board, go down with the head of steam, floor space, and get to the hoop. And he's going to be able to be effective. Or he's going to be in the dunker position, running those pick and rolls with LeBron, which had like an 80% scoring rate or something insane like that. And they ran it like 8 times during the first like 3 games, and it worked all but like 2 times or something like that. And then they didn't run it again for 3 months. Like Frank Vogel found something that worked with Westbrook as the screener in the pick and roll, and then it was like ridiculous. Like the rate of scoring was insane, and yet Frank Vogel was like, you know what? I don't think that works good enough. It's not 100%. It's only 80%, and just completely went away for it for the next 3-4 months. They didn't run the play again till like January. Like it's insane. So yeah, I don't think it's the end of the world if that ends up happening. I see the Raptors getting back involved. And the Kevin Durant trade, the problem is they're not going to trade Scotty Barnes. And like, Eddie, what are you going to do? You trade Siakam and OG Anunoby? And I don't think Scotty Barnes and KD make you a contender. Westbrook is an asset if you are tanking. He is the tank commander. Yes, I think a lot of people get caught up in the whole nobody wants Westbrook. They don't want him as a player. They want his salary. He is essentially he is the only player in the league right now that is a book wiper. Like you have a bunch of contracts that you need to move off of and you're rebuilding. Guess what? We have $47 million to clean your books. So like a team like the Knicks, if they go get Donovan Mitchell, makes all the sense in the world because the Lakers would essentially wipe the Knicks' entire books. Like, here you go. And of course you get back assets in that trade, you're probably getting a first round pick as opposed to giving a first round pick because you're helping the Knicks tremendously. And then if you could take those pieces and route them to a team like the Nets, then maybe you could do something like that. I think that there's options out there, but yes, there are many teams that would take on Westbrook. If Paul Simons and Woody Allen had a baby, it would be you. Thank you, I guess. Lakers don't need picks already. We might as well make the trade. It's not about the picks. Look, it's not that the Lakers don't want to trade the picks. They just want to make the right deal. Like, you're only competing with yourself. Like I made this comparison before. Like if I have a cup of water and you want my cup of water, eventually that water is going to evaporate. At some point, that water is not going to be there anymore. And if you're the only person that is willing to buy my cup of water and I want $100 for my cup of water and you're like, that makes no sense. It's only worth 10. And it's like, no, I want 100. And you're like, nobody else is here to offer you anything. That cup of water is probably worth 8, but I'm willing to give you 10 for it. And you want 100. Look, if you don't sell it to me, you're just going to lose that water. It's going to evaporate and now you have nothing. So what would you rather do? And the Nets right now want that $100. That doesn't mean they're going to get it. And the Lakers are being smart by being patient. It's not about trading things. It's just there's nobody else that wants him. And look, if you let him walk, guess what? You can't replace him. That's the big factor that people need to understand too, is that Kyrie Irving, if he leaves the Nets don't have $36 million to replace him. Like the Lakers, if Westbrook leaves and just walks, the Lakers have $47 million because the only person on contract would be Anthony Davis. So they would have essentially, and LeBron would be a free agent, assuming he doesn't sign an extension. So you would essentially have Westbrook's entire salary off the books. That doesn't do the same thing for the Brooklyn Nets because they have Ben Simmons on a max. They have Kevin Durant on a max. They have Joe Harris on a $18 million a year contract. They're salary strapped. They have no money to go replace Kyrie Irving. So it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to ride it out with Kyrie for a year and run the risk of losing him? And now you can't replace him? And you think Kevin Durant's going to stay when you can't even get, now it's just Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons? You think Kevin Durant's going to want to stay? Like, the Nets, let the Nets just keep digging their hole. Like, like the Lakers are being smart. It's not about the picks. It's like, why would I give you 2 first-round picks when I don't have to? You're the one in trouble, not me. What's the problem here? What, LeBron's going to leave? Where's LeBron going to go? And if Kyrie comes, you think LeBron's going to leave? No. If anything, we have more money to sign Kyrie. So now if we have $80 to $100 million, Kyrie, we could sign Kyrie, and we're the only team that wants him, so we don't have to pay him a max. So it's like we'll give you $25 million a year. LeBron take a little, off the top instead of a max, take $10 million less, and we'll go get you a Miles Turner who's now a free agent. And now you have Kyrie Irving, Miles Turner, and you didn't even have to make a trade for them. Like Miles Turner, you want to come to the Lakers? We were going to trade for you. Guess what? Now you have Anthony Davis, Miles Turner, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron James. And it's realistic because they would have basically their entire books ready to go. If you're the Lakers, you're doing the right thing by just being smart. Be patient. Don't need to rush. Don't need to do anything. Just stay in the course is my point. Just keep it pushing. And the Lakers will be fine. What else we got? Russell Westbrook will be the 2023 league MVP. That would be wonderful. I would love that. Imagine if the Celtics get KD and the Lakers keep Westbrook. I don't see that happening, but you never know. As as a casual fan, I like KD going to the Celtics, but as a Laker fan, this rivalry will reinvent itself with KD, Jason Tatum, Robert Williams versus Anthony Davis, LeBron, and Kyrie Irving. Yes, but I mean, that story, come on, that would be fantastic. Especially if both of them met in the finals, the winner breaks the tie for most championships all time. You got two best friends in Kyrie and Kevin Durant going head to head. You know, you had the showdowns from, you know, LeBron and all that. Like, it's perfect. Like, you literally cannot write a better story. Seriously, like, just come on. Like that, it just everything from that standpoint. And real quick, we got Live Sport, LA Sports Live. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And this is the first super chat on this channel. I actually just got monetized today, actually. That's why I was like, oh, I got to do a live stream today. So thank you for being my first super chat on this channel. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you. And a $10 one at that. So very thankful. Kyrie to the Lakers, KD to the Celtics. Lakers versus Celtics 2023 final. Lakers win banner 18. Perfect timing for super chat because I was literally right in the middle of it. I am with you 10,000%. Like, I would absolutely love this. I mean, just like I said, think of the story. You know, like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, they break up. They go to rival teams. You have the two historic teams. They end up on a crash course to the NBA Finals. Winner gets number 18. Lakers, I like the Lakers in that matchup. I mean, think about it. You got Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Kyrie Irving against Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, and Robert Williams. Like, I think we win that series. But nonetheless, like, regardless, just that story. LeBron and Kyrie reunite, and now they're in the finals again. You know, you have that KD LeBron rivalry again. Just, I mean, all of it. Like, it's just a perfect story. I mean, that's sports, right? Like, it's amazing how crazy, like, that stuff happens so consistently. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but seriously, like, this is something that it just feels like it's like a scripted story. Like, I can't wait for that 30 for 30. Like, like, it'd be great. Seriously, I'd love it. But again, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. And real quick, just for a shameless plug, we are at 11:34, and there are 141 of you beautiful people in this live stream. If you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe to this channel. It means a ton. If you love Laker Talk, all that stuff. We are officially monetized here, which is awesome. And that is thanks to all of you subscribing away and all that stuff. But yes, if we could at least get to 1150, it's only 16 subs away. I don't think that's impossible. If we get to 1200, that'd be even better. That's 66 subs away. If there's 66 of you that aren't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. But again, thank you so much, LA Sports Live. I really appreciate that. Harden was on one leg. Kyrie didn't play after game 1 and 2. I believe you get a lot of facts mixed up. I said that Harden was playing on one leg. Kyrie was hardly there. He was on one leg, and he still almost took him. I didn't say Kyrie played every game. I just said he basically took two guys that were on one leg and ended up being a toe on the line away from beating them. That's what I said. And Harden was overweight. I added to that. What is going on? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Lakers should keep Westbrook. Like I said, I mean, if your option is a bad trade or Russell Westbrook, you keep Russell Westbrook, as much as it might suck. But LeBron and Russ will be off the books after this coming year. Yeah, exactly. That's my point exactly. Like, you're better off. You don't want to make a trade that's going to mess up your future. You don't want to make a trade that's going to end up bad for you. So I would rather see them just remain patient. Don't make a trade. Like, if you can't get Kyrie, fine. You can't get Kyrie. If you could get the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner deal, I think that's a good deal. But you don't want to make a deal just to make a deal, and now you're in trouble. Kyrie can take over a game if you wanted to. Westbrook can take over a game negatively. Yeah, I mean, the impact is different. And Kyrie's just a more natural, fluid fit. So, of course, if you could get Kyrie Irving, you go get Kyrie Irving. And that's what the Lakers are waiting for. They're waiting for those moments. They're waiting to see what develops. But Lakers don't need picks if they already have a young team. Yeah, I mean, but they don't have a young team. Like that. I mean, they got younger, but all these guys are on 1-year deals. Like, a lot of them are going to leave. None of them are like guys that you want to build around for your future. The Lakers aren't in a good spot. The Disney World Championship is complete garbage. You need to do your homework, man. Okay. Yeah, let's address this briefly. If any other team won the bubble championship, everybody would be talking about how it was the greatest championship ever and they deserved it all stuff. The fact that it was the Lakers, everyone likes to hate on this. Who would know more? A guy trolling on the internet based on all your comments in this chat, or the players that were in the bubble that all said it was the toughest experience of their life, from being away from their families to being locked in to hotel rooms to not having fans. And as much as people might think like not having fans shouldn't be a big factor, it absolutely does. If you're the home team, you have the fans to buy into and kind of give you that boost. If you're the away team, a lot of star players love getting booed and all that stuff because it gives you, everyone wants to silence the crowd. Like that's a huge thing. Teams literally wanted to quit because of how mentally strained it was, how difficult it was. You know, like a lot of people like to discredit the bubble title when every source from media to organizations to the players all said it was the hardest playoff experience of their careers. So was it really complete garbage, or are you just a troll on the internet? So what is it? You know, just saying, man. You know, a lot of people like to bag on that, but they don't actually listen to what was said. So I don't see the point of their picks anymore. Oh, this is a continuation from that. Like I said, the problem is we don't have any young players. We don't have anybody to build around. You know, I mean, maybe we could get it in like an Anthony Davis trade or something like that, but in reality, you're not going to really get much. 17 chips, yes. Kyrie on the way. I think so. Sooner or later. What's up? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I see a lot of people going in on Lone Wolf. He's just trolling. That's all it is. It's just, you always got to have that troll in the live stream, right? You always got to have that person that thinks that they know anything. Like I said, if any other team in the league had won that, it wouldn't even have been a conversation. Wouldn't even have been a discussion. Kyrie on the way to Brooklyn. I mean, he's still in LA as far as I know. As far as I know, he's still in LA. So, and he said he wasn't leaving LA until he gets traded. Lakers are due, baby. Never. They're always. Where do you think KD and Kyrie will go? Do you think one of them will get traded this summer? I still think the most likely scenario is Kevin Durant stays with Brooklyn. I think at this point it's Boston or bust. I think he either goes to Boston or stays with the Nets. And then as far as Kyrie goes, I still think Kyrie goes to the Lakers. I think even if they end up keeping Kevin Durant, they'll end up trading Kyrie. Because like I said, they could leave him for a year, but then what? They're in a worse spot next year if he walks than they are this year. At least you get something back for Kyrie. They literally cannot replace Kyrie Irving. If they didn't have, like, let's say it was only Kevin Durant on the roster next season and Kyrie leaves and you have 40 million, 50 million to go and try to get another star, then fine. Let Kyrie, who cares? Let Kyrie stay. But if Kyrie leaves them next year, they cannot replace him. They literally lose him for nothing because they can't replace him via trade because no team is going to now sign and trade for him. And the Lakers could just sign him outright. And two, they don't get cap relief. They literally will still be over the cap, so they have what? They would have a $10 million exception and they'd have vet minimums. Like that's it. They either trade Kyrie Irving or they get nothing. Like that's what it is. Are you a better shooter than Ben Simmons? Bet you are. I bet I would put money on that I am better than because at least I'm not afraid to shoot, but can't get much worse than that. What else we got? I would take any trade that would take Westbrook off the team at this point. Yeah, but you don't want a trade that's going to ruin what you have. That's my big problem. You don't want to make a trade that ends up blowing up in your face. Do you have a Cash App? I don't have. I should make a Cash App for as it's. I don't. I do have one for another channel I have. Fate Decided, which that Cash App. I could put it in the description or something. I'll have to make a Cash App for this because I do know a lot of people do like to give super chats or donations on Cash App and stuff like that because YouTube takes such a big percentage. So I do appreciate that. And you were the one that gave me the $10 super chat, which I'm very thankful for. Thank you very much. I should put together like a Cash App, Venmo, and stuff like that. I'll get one together. I currently do not. I have like I do have one for Fate Decided, which is another channel that I have that I've had for like years. That some people here know me from. Most people probably don't because it's just a completely different type of content. But yes, I'll put one together. In the meantime, super chats here. I'm very thankful, I'm very appreciative. Nobody has to do it. Believe me, I don't feel like you're obligated to, but it does help. The goal is to do this for a living one day, and if I can, why not? But give me 1 second. Just trying to find. So the Cash App. If anybody wants to do it, it's just Fate Decided. It's at Fate Decided, or the $ at Fate FATE Decided DECIDED, which is, like I said, another channel that I have that has nothing to do with sports. But I do have a Cash App for that, which a lot of people like to donate over there rather than here. But again, let's get back into the discussions. And where are we? Russ is on the Laker bus. Probably, yeah, very likely. I do believe Russ has gone either way. Yeah, I do too. I think at this point, you almost have to trade him. At this point, I think your hands are kind of tied in that regards. I just don't want to. I would rather them send him home than make a deal that just ruins everything. Tough to dump Westbrook. Nobody really wants him. Lots of teams want him. They don't want him as a player. They don't want him as a player. They want him as an expiring contract. Like I said, he's a book cleaner. He literally clears everything off your books. I like the heel Turner trade. At least you get two solid players. I mean, I do too. Like if your options are, that trade or Kyrie Irving, I think you do that trade. Assuming Kyrie's dead. I think Kyrie's the trade that you do. That's your number one priority. But this isn't a bad plan B. Like if this is your consolation prize, it's a pretty good consolation prize. Are you willing to take on Randall? No, I am not. One is fit, he doesn't fit right now based on the team we have. And two, you're talking if he wasn't on a 4-year deal, making $25 million a year, roughly something like that. Then maybe you take a flyer on, especially if you get some assets back, something like that. Now, if the Nets are like, hey, we wouldn't mind Randall and Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose, and you can kind of make that trade happen, and you probably get a first from the Nets, not the Nets, the Knicks at that point. So they got more firsts because the Nets, they can't tank. So maybe they're like, hey, if Randall could get back to being that 40% three-point shooter that nearly averaged a triple-double, like we're in a great spot, something like that. But no, if it's just like, hey, let's trade Westbrook and take on Randall, absolutely not. Whatever you do, don't do that. What is going on, Ash? Appreciate you being here. You see Dennis Schroeder coming back. Depending on how it shapes up. Right now, no. I think we have too many guards. There's no point. But if we end up doing a deal where we end up trading, Westbrook, THT, and, you get back Kyrie, something like that, then yeah, I think you can get a flyer on Schroeder. I could see Schroeder coming back. It just depends on which one you're getting. Which Dennis is showing up? Is it the one that was like, hey, I'm the star. I'm the starting point guard. You're going to pay me max money. I'm that dude. If we're getting that Dennis Schroeder, keep that guy as far away from the Lakers as physically possible. If you get a humble Dennis Schroeder who comes in, he's like, look, I learned my lesson. I don't want to be a player that's on 10 teams in 10 years. I'm willing to buy in. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. If you want me to start, cool. If you want me to come off the bench, be the sixth man, I'll do it. Whatever you need from me, I'm here. That Schroeder, bring him in. Give him a flyer because he is a guy that can be an impact player. I don't think he's a terrible, he's a huge needle mover, but he is a guy that is good enough to be in your rotation. So yeah, football. So I have another channel as it stands, which is like the main channel. The channel as it stands, I will be beginning to talk football at the beginning of next month because we'll be in the preseason, all that stuff. Hopefully you get some breaking news stuff. I have done a couple videos on football so far. I definitely want to talk football over there. But this channel will just be Lakers. But if you want any other basketball content, any other football content, sports talks in general, my main channel as it stands, go subscribe over there. I know most, if not all of you are, but those that aren't, go over there. And if you're not subscribed here, of course, subscribe here. Let's get some new subscribers. We're at 1137. Can we get 13 more subscribers? All right, I'm going to go about 10 to 15 more minutes, and then I got to skate out of here. So we'll answer these questions in order. If you have a question that you want answered immediately or anything like that, Super Chat notifies me immediately. So you get to jump the line. Other than that, we'll continue in order. Yes, Randall's contract is very bad. I agree. Is Kendrick Nunn going to tear up for the Lakers this year, or are they going to run with LeBron as the point guard? If I'm being honest, I think they probably run LeBron as the point guard, depending on how the team shapes up. If you get Kyrie Irving, LeBron's probably your point guard. If you end up with Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, I still think LeBron's your point guard. But I think Kendrick Nunn is going to tear it up. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Kendrick Nunn, and I have been a big advocate for Kendrick Nunn and the potential of him. He could be our Kyrie Irving light. Like, people forget 2 years ago, he was a 38% three-point shooter, averaged 20 points a game on a finals team. Like, as the starting point guard on a finals team. Like, the dude is a baller. Like, if he can get back to being that healthy guy, like, when the Lakers got him in free agency, like, that was the big talk. Like, how did they get Kendrick Nunn for, a taxpayer mid-level? Like, how did they get him for $6 million? Like, it was a big thing. If he could stay healthy and he can get back to being the Kendrick Nunn we know and love, he could realistically be our third guy. Like, I really think so. I love when Shaq calls himself the Box February. Hield gives us a shooter. Don't you think we need shooting? I absolutely do think we need shooting. The problem is Hield only provides shooting. And if all you're looking for is 3-point shooting and nothing else, no defense, nothing, like, he's not a great individual shot creator. He's not a guy that can make people around him better. He's kind of and his 3-point percentage declined. Like, my thing is, why would you give up assets to go get Hield? Now, if you are giving up assets to get Hield and Kyrie, then yes. Or if you're getting, Hield and Miles Turner, then okay, I understand that. But to just go trade for Buddy Hield, I don't see the point. Like, what do you get? Like, if you have to give up a first and stuff like that, you might as well just keep that. And I would rather you take a flyer on a guy like Cole Swider. You basically get the same experience. I mean, Cole Swider hasn't played an NBA game. He shot 53% in Summer League. I don't think he's going to shoot anywhere near that. But he only has to shoot 37% to match Buddy Hield, which I think he can realistically do based on his shot, what he did in college and what he did in Summer League. And he's going to get open looks because you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the team. So I think if all you're looking for is shooting, give Cole Swider a shot. He's also 6'9" and just needs to be serviceable on defense. You don't need him to be a stop-down, lockdown defender. Buddy Hield isn't that guy either way. Buddy Hield has no playoff experience, so you don't know what kind of player you're going to get in him if you make the playoffs, just like Cole Swider. I think you're in the same boat either way. Or go re-sign Carmelo Anthony. Then you don't have to lose anything. There are guys, like, if all you're looking for is just 3-point shooting, there are guys out there that are essentially free that you don't have to give up anything for that could do the exact same thing. So that's my only thing. It's like, why are you going to give up a bunch of assets? Let's see. Don't count out my Sixers. It just depends on which James Harden shows up. If you get like a bought-in, healthy, not overweight James Harden, Sixers are scary. They really are. No team wants to play the Sixers, but I think James Harden's the key. If you get the James Harden that laid a goose egg in the playoffs when you needed him most, I don't like the chances. If LeBron and Russ leave next year and the Nets decide to give Kyrie a max next summer, who do we sign? The Lakers? It depends on who becomes available. Right now, there's not a ton of guys available, but you never know who might come up. We haven't even gotten to an extension season. It's a question that's impossible to answer right now, just because who's going to sign extensions, who's not. like stuff like that. Like who would we be able to trade for? There's a lot that go into that. So that's the only problem. We need more two-way wings around LeBron and AD, and we'll be golden. Yeah, problem is there's not really any out there. I mean, we did pretty good in the free agency because there wasn't a lot of free agents out there. But the thing is, too, is like two-way wings. Every team wants those. So teams that do have them aren't really trading them. It's tough. Like the video, peeps. Yes. Thank you so much, Speedy. Yes, please. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It really does help during and after this stream. And if you're not subscribe to the channel. We are at 1140. Can we get 10 more subscribers before I skate out of here in a few minutes? That would be wonderful. I got 175 of you beautiful people. I'm sure there's at least 10 of you that are not subscribed. So hit that subscribe button. What else? Nobody talking about the Sixers getting Tucker, which makes them a lot tougher and better. Well, one, this is the Lakers channel. I've actually talked, if you go over to my As It Stands main channel, I've actually talked about the Sixers on several occasions because that is like an everything sports channel, not just a Lakers channel. So not going to be a lot of talk about the Sixers here, but I do think the Sixers are a solid team. A lot of questions with James Harden, though. Which James Harden are you going to get? Which James Harden is going to show up? And Tucker, at this point, I don't really think he's a needle mover that much. I mean, he does provide toughness. He is a guy that is solid, but he's like, what? He's like 38 years old, something like that. I mean, how much of a factor is he really going to be? Is the question. Trying to find. The bubble chip is the greatest chip ever. I mean, I think you can make the argument, because I mean, everybody's talked about how tough it was. Like all the players, media, everything. Like teams literally wanted to quit because it was so mentally straining and just difficult. Like even the Clippers. The Clippers were one of the first teams that were like, sign us up. Let's get out of here. I love how, what's funny is like people always try to say this. So LeBron and AD had 3 months to rest up. It's not like the Lakers were the only team that got to stay home and rest up. Every team got to stay up. And a lot of people forget, because like I said, this is how you always know it's either a troll or a casual fan that knows nothing and is just talking out of the wrong side of their mouth. The NBA actually waited longer so some of the players on like Denver and the Clippers and stuff like that could get healthy. So Anthony Davis and LeBron James were already ready to go. If anything, other teams they waited for. And those teams all had the same amount of rest time, all that stuff. It was a fair playing field. Everybody had the same playing field. It wasn't like the Lakers got special treatment. No. Everybody was on the same playing field. So it is Flipper fans. Yeah, because it has to be. And the Flippers were the ones that wanted to leave. They were the ones that were crying, "Oh, we don't like it here. Let's go home." Like people act like the bubble ring wasn't something serious. The bubble chip was the toughest chip. No fans locked in a room. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like every single person that was in that bubble all said the exact same thing. It was one of the toughest experiences of their lives. The being locked in a room, no fans, all that. Like you saw interview after interview, and it was always the same thing. Like this is tough. It is mentally, physically, emotionally just straining. We're away from everything. Like it just, yeah. Our Lakers need to get Kyrie a buddy. I do think that is what they're trying to do right now. I think they're trying to swing both of them. If they can make that happen, I think this offseason was a home run. I think that was a grand slam home run if you can make both. So personally, yes, I think so. Kendrick Nunn, where does he fit in all the Russ drama? I mean, he could be a person that gets moved. I hope not. I hope out of everybody they keep him, because I really think Kendrick Nunn is going to ball. I could be completely wrong. You don't know if he's going to come back healthy, like how healthy is he, stuff like that. But if he could get back to being the Kendrick Nunn we knew, he's solid. But as far as fitting in with the Russ drama, I just don't think he does. I just think, if he doesn't get traded, I think he's fine. I think he's good. I don't think, like I said, I don't think the Lakers care about the picks. I don't think the Lakers are like, oh, we need the picks. The Lakers are willing to trade both picks. They just want it to be the right deal. And I think if push comes to shove, I do think they will end up trading the picks. Undercover Celtics fan facts. They're infiltrating us. We are going to have major cap space next year. Exactly. And that's why I don't want the Lakers to do something silly. Like, I know it's frustrating, believe me, but we still have like a month and some change before we're even into training camp. So there's still a lot of time. And I don't want to see the Lakers jeopardize that cap space for the future, because you never know what tomorrow brings, especially the NBA. Tomorrow, another star could one out and stuff. And now maybe the Lakers go get them. There's always something tomorrow. It's just like, what will that be? And, the Lakers don't want to end up being in a position where you got a bunch of bad contracts. LeBron leaves. Now you have to trade Anthony Davis, and you're terrible for the next 6 years again. Well, if you're a Laker fan, you want KD traded first. Then Kyrie will be traded to the Lakers. Right now, the Nets aren't making a trade because they think they can still get that to work. Yes, I mean, that was one of the first things I said in this live stream. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more people now than there were earlier. But when I was talking earlier in the live stream, I even said, like, as Laker fans, we are rooting that the Celtics, not for the Celtics, but we're rooting that the Celtics go and trade for Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant is likely the first domino to fall for not only Kyrie Irving, but also Donovan Mitchell. He probably gets traded too if that happens, because other teams might be more aggressive now. Like, oh, we need to be able to compete with the Celtics, so let's go get that. Like, I just think that could be the thing that kind of gets the ground running. What else we got? Everybody thinks Kuz is a bum, but dude plays hard on the defense and his Russ at the end. I would never made that trade. Never liked Russ at any time. I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. I mean, I like Kuzma, but here's the thing too: is that the logic was LeBron is at the end of his career, and he wants to play more off the ball. And LeBron's going to miss 20-plus games a season. We need somebody that could be durable and take over when he's out. That's why they got Russ. Problem is, Frank Vogel, and I'm not saying Russ is without fault. He absolutely is part of the problem, but he isn't the main problem. Like, a lot of people act like if we didn't have Russell Westbrook and we had Kuzma, or, if we just didn't have Russell Westbrook at all, we would have won the championship. No, we were still terrible. And Frank Vogel was awful coaching last year. The adjustments, the changes, everything. He never put Westbrook in a position to be successful. Never. Westbrook was always either relegated to standing in the corner and being a spot up 3-point corner shooter, or he was just standing off to his side. Like, and how many times did we see Westbrook, Rondo, and LeBron in the game? That should never even be an experimental lineup. They're all the same player. And then when Rondo left, it was THT, Westbrook, and LeBron for not just like brief little stints. I mean, you're talking sample sizes of time. Like, that was terrible. Like, at some point, you have to look at all of the pieces. Not like Russ, like I said, Russ isn't exonerated from any fault. He was part of the problem, but he wasn't the main problem. And he was never put in a position at any point to be successful. The times that he didn't have LeBron, and the times that he got to be the guy, we saw him be a 30-point triple-double guy. Like, we saw him. And the year prior, he was with the Wizards. I still believe Westbrook has it in him. I still think he could be a guy. I mean, he's not a $47 million a year player anymore, but I still think he's a really good player. It's just the whole point of you getting Westbrook was to make sure LeBron, they should have never even played on the court together outside of like the beginning of the game, and if Westbrook's balling at the end of the game. That should have been it. Like, I really think if Darvin Ham plays Westbrook as like a sixth man, obviously you got to start for his ego and so that there's no drama, locker room drama. But if you go to Westbrook, 5 minutes, LeBron's in the game, you take LeBron, you take AD out, and you say, all right, Westbrook, you have 5 minutes to go. This is your show. This is the Westbrook show for 5 minutes. We're not going to do anything but give you the ball and let you just go to work. I really believe Westbrook would average pretty close to a triple-double every game. And I think he'd give you, 20 to 25 a game every single game. If he got like 20 minutes, 5-minute block at the end of the second, at the end of the first, 5-minute block at the end of the second, so on and so forth. He gets about 20 to 25 minutes to himself a game. LeBron gets the rest, all that stuff. You play him in the beginning for a 5-minute stretch, and you play him at the end if Westbrook's balling for a 5-minute stretch. I believe Westbrook, you will see a different kind of Westbrook. I really do. If the Lakers are going to use Taylor Horton-Tucker package with a pick, would you rather target Hield or Turner? I don't think that would get you Turner by itself. I think very likely to get Hield. My problem is I don't want Hield by himself. If you can make a trade to get both, perfect. If you're only getting Hield, I just think then what's the point? Re-sign Carmelo, give Cole Swider a chance. That Hield trade is probably still going to be there. I just don't think you rush that trade. But if you could get both of them and Kyrie is off the table, then yeah, go get it. Yeah, exactly. If Dennis does want to come back, he has to come in and be a solid soldier. He has to play the role, For that reason right there is exactly why I don't want to cross the Schroeder bridge again. I completely get it. Believe me, I get it. At this point, it makes no sense to go get Schroeder because we just have way too many guards. But depending on trades and if you need another guard, I don't mind him terribly. But yeah, I think there's other options you can do. He's worth $6 to $8 million per year. Just got a bad rep with his handling and now eating crow. Yeah, I mean, I think $6 to $8 million is fair for Schroeder. He thought he was better. He let his ego get in the way, and that was a big problem. That's very possible. That's very possible. I like Nunn. I just don't think if he's a starter. I mean, I think he is in the right situation, but I think either way you're going to have LeBron probably play point guard this year, and if that's the case, I think you have Nunn come off the bench. And I do think Nunn will have a big year too. I really think people are sleeping on Kendrick Nunn. I really do. I really believe he's going to, and who knows, I could be completely wrong, but I can see it happening. KD to Boston, I think it's a possibility. Nothing's set in stone yet, but I just think at this point, they're kind of making it look like they're going to have to trade him. Please, we need Kyrie. I want him. Get it done already. I feel it. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. Andrew Wiggins is what Sixers fans expect Tobias Harris to be in the finals. Sixers are faker, not Lakers. Yeah, I can understand that. I hope so. Thank you so much. I appreciate you subscribing. And yes, please, anybody, if you're not subscribed, we are at 1146. Come on, I wanted 1150. I need 4 more subscribers. There's 172 of you beautiful people. Please hit that subscribe button. Before I get out of here, let's get 4 more subscribers. What is up? Appreciate you being here. What percentage chance do you think Lakers trade for Kyrie? I'd say I still think it's about 60 to 70%. I think ultimately they'll end up trading him, but if KD gets traded, I think it's 100% or about. I should never say 100%. That he gets traded if Kevin Durant gets traded. But yeah. Everyone making fun of the Lakers. We won a bubble championship is a championship. Absolutely. Championship is a championship. Look, there were many other teams that could have won. And guess what? None of them won. It's not like the Lakers showed up by themselves and won a championship. And they were just like, oh, hey, here's the trophy. No, it wasn't like that. All teams had an even playing ground. And the Lakers came out on top. So, Kitty, Celtics, Lakers for banner 18 in the finals next year. I would love it. If Lakers get Kyrie, Celtics get Kevin Durant. Oh, I mean, you can't write a better story. Seriously. They are. That's all it is. It's just people hating on the Lakers. Like I said, if any other team won that finals, everyone would have been talking about how it was the greatest finals win ever, this, that, and the other. But it's because it's the Lakers. That's how it is. KD will be Celtic by next week. Very possible. I don't rule it out. Kyrie, LeBron, AD going to be scary. I'm with you. Lakers get Kyrie, they will be top 2 or 3 in the conference. Yeah, I mean, I think if they get Kyrie, they are the best team in the conference. But I think they'll likely end up with like the 4th or 5th seed, and people are going to be like, "Oh, so the Lakers aren't that good." But no, the Lakers don't care about seeding. If you have Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James, the only thing you care about is getting to the playoffs healthy. Celtics get KD, they will top 1 in the conference. Yeah, I think Celtics will be the best team. Yeah, I think it's very likely if everyone's healthy, crash course. Lakers and Celtics. Unfortunately, we are going to have to attempt to make it work with Russ this upcoming season. It's a very real possibility. I really don't rule it out at all. But we actually caught up to the chat. I really appreciate it. I'm actually going to get out of here. I will be streaming later tonight, around probably like 7 on my main channel as it stands. I'm trying to do live streams every day here and there. So head on over there. If you're not subscribed there, if you click the icon, take you to my homepage here on As It Stands Lakers, you'll see the main channel as it stands. You can subscribe over there, or just type in As It Stands on YouTube and you'll find the main channel. But nonetheless, if you're not subscribed here, subscribe here, please. Help me continue to grow and climb this channel. We are at 149. I need one more subscriber. Get me to 150 to make the goal. I'm going to draw out this intro real quick. But yes, subscribe to the channel. Head on over to As It Stands. Later tonight, I'll be streaming over there. I appreciate everybody here that was hanging out with me. Everybody that gave super chats, thank you so much for all the super chats. Seriously, means the world to me. It really does help me help this channel, all that stuff. But in the meantime, again, I will see you guys later tonight. In the end, we got to 11:50. Thank you so much, everyone that subscribed. I'll see you later tonight on As It Stands. Hope to see you all there.